Today on the Nerdy Gritty, with the success of digital-first movie releases, the future of traditional movie theaters is becoming uncertain. How do they stay relevant?
One more world disappears inside it. Just another hopeless addict. Well, they make some man instead. If the drums don't get you, the guitars will.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Nerdy Gritty, where you delve deep into the details of pop culture. We also do that. You do it.
Yeah,
and,
you do it, and we
do
as
it.
well.
That's right. I'm AMC Dez.
I'm Regal Fox.
He's
sounds
king.
like it sounds like a
a
species.
Species. The
it's
Regal
the
Fox.
majestic Regal Fox.
Look at his crown.
He looks very similar to other foxes. He just thinks he's better than everyone else.
So, Fox, there are a lot of things that people are unable to do at this trying time, as all the commercials say. This time of uncertainty.
I hate commercials always,
The
but right
worst,
now,
man.
every single one of them.
There are a lot of things that can't be done, including something that's not being talked about is the military, U.S. military, has had to stop a lot of their normal training operations and things like that because the military has had a lot of cases of coronavirus.
They put a lot of people together.
Yeah, that's
kind of their deal.
It's what's going to happen. So there were soldiers in Fort Hood that are in a tank team.
I would assume that's by us.
Maybe.
Right?
I have
Fort
no
Hood?
idea.
No? Okay.
But what I do know is that they have been playing War Thunder.
Oh, War Thunder.
War Thunder
I'm
to
looking up this
practice
game.
their tank stuff, and they are legitimately finding Fort Hood, Texas, by the way.
Oh, okay.
They're legitimately finding, dang, this is working really well. What other things, what other situations that are limited in this time of uncertainty? What sort of thing? Look on
You say it
Fox's
again,
face.
I will literally kill you and record it, and I will still put it on the internet.
What other things can video games replace in this limited time? There, I changed it.
Yeah, that was completely different.
Much, much better.
Look, Zoom, you can do Zoom meetings for therapy and such still.
Of course.
It's not the same.
No, it's not.
Being able to be in a meeting with people and just be able to see reactions and have that just in person. That's true a lot.
As somebody who's still seeing a counselor currently, it's very different.
It's a different situation. So what we need is something to bring out those emotions, that gets you real, that real relationship to happen. So we need couples to start playing Overcooked together. That's really going to help in this time of uncertainty. It's going to help, people overcome their problems.
Or
just end the relationship
directly.
And the problem
is gone at that point.
Look. That's the lateral thinking here. Is if you don't have a relationship, you can't have relationship problems.
Right? Yeah, we'll find a way for people to find new reasons to hate each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, so on top of all of this, a lot of lesser important surgeries have been postponed.
Yeah.
Until we can be sure that we have entirely
non-life-threatening
ORs.
or elective.
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
And so I figured for surgeons to really keep their fingers dexterous,
yes,
we should go into Surgeon Simulator.
Surgeon Simulator, look,
it's 1-to-1.
It's 1-to-1. It's exactly the same. As far as I know. I've never performed surgery, and it's been probably 2 decades since I've actually even undergone surgery. So things change.
Really, if you want to feel terrible at surgery and you need more practice, that's the way to go.
That's
man.
how you do it. That's
Absolutely.
how you do it.
Make them all feel like they're bad at their job, and so they have to practice
And it's
more.
not like it's even new. I mean, this is just the new version of Operation.
Right.
They're
Absolutely.
the same thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
What else is going on in the news world here, Fox?
A whole lot, of course, as always, but one big one that's happening, Last of Us Part 2 went gold. If you don't know what that term means, basically it's, hey, our game is ready to be pressed onto discs and then shipped out.
Right.
It'll still have the release date of June 19th as of right now, but it's now ready. It's in its at least shippable state. There will probably be a day one update, as they always do, but it's at least in a shippable state. And the reason why I want to bring this up, it's not really significant that a game goes gold unless you're really interested in playing that, because then it's good news. But Last of Us Part 2, if you haven't seen, had some pretty major spoilers leaked.
Yeah.
It was confirmed to be hackers. Apparently, it wasn't like disgruntled employees or anything.
Right.
Like,
People just
look,
hacked it.
That's just bad. Like, you're just a dumb. Like, don't do that, guys. Neil Druckmann, who is the creative director on that one and this one, and I think at Naughty Dog, and I think on like some of the like Uncharted games, he basically put a video on YouTube. Comments were turned off, which I thought was, I mean, some people don't like when that's a thing, but I appreciate it because it's a volatile time for them, and
in these volatile
times, it's a longer video than this, but I'm gonna read an excerpt from it. On behalf of Naughty Dog, thank you to you guys. You've been very patient, waiting for this game for years with us, and you're just a few weeks away from getting it. A lot of you have sent us sweet and encouraging messages along that time that have been really helpful. No matter what you've seen or heard or read, nothing compares to playing this game from beginning to end.
Ooh.
It's a video game. You have to play it.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe. Take care of your loved ones, and we'll have a lot more for you soon. That was the end of the video right there.
I like that.
There was more before that, but I've seen people get up like that. I didn't see the spoilers, but they said, well, now that I've seen what's in it, canceling my pre-order or something like that. And it's your prerogative.
Right.
You know, that's fair. You might not like where the story goes and you don't want to play it. But also, there's a very big difference between reading a script, even if that's what came out, and playing an actual game. There's a difference in reading a script and watching a movie. There's a difference in reading a Wikipedia, like Spark Notes or whatever, and reading a book. Like, if it's not experienced in its intended format, then you can't say that I don't like this.
Hey, did you hear Fortnite banned a kid for 4 years?
Fortnite years?
Fortnite years.
Wow, why?
No, 4 years. There is a 9-year-old streamer who is very good.
All right.
He's pretty popular. He's got like thousands, if not 130,000 followers on Twitch. Fortnite has a terms of service rule that for competitions, you must be 13 or older.
Oh.
Well, one time with his dad sitting next to him during the process, he tried to jump in on one of the prizeless competitions. It was an official competition, but still just for funsies.
Like an exhibition kind of thing.
Right. He played for a little while, and then during the stream, received his ban. And cried on live TV.
I feel...
Banned until he's 13 years old and he meets the terms of service.
I feel pretty bad for him, but also, them's the rules.
Fortnite has also had people straight up cheat in competitions and ban them for 2 weeks.
Okay. I can see where that to me is the understandable anger, is a difference in, severity of punishment. You got to be consistent with that kind of stuff.
To me, I'm mad for this. Yeah,
that's terrible.
I have a 9-year-old girl.
You're right.
And I can't imagine her being not only in love with something, but also very good at it.
Yeah.
And then that thing being taken away from her.
So he's banned from playing the game at all?
Well, at least under that screen name.
Well,
and I'm guessing if he tries to jump on and stream Fortnite again, obviously they will know he is doing this.
It's not just from competitions?
No, he is banned for 4 years until he is 13. Now, I'm really going to guess that Epic's going to renege on this. Because Twitter is exploding on this issue.
That seems extreme.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Good news for you. I know this is I know it's huge, but the finally the 5th Twilight novel is getting published.
Curse you!
Finally.
That's my other news article.
From you?
Dang it. We usually tell each other what our news articles are.
We didn't do that today.
We did not do that
It's okay.
today.
We want to talk a lot about this. So
yes.
I'm super pumped for Midnight Sun. It's Twilight, but from Edward Cullen's perspective.
Yes.
So cool.
How is it that we both got the Twilight news article?
I did it for the memes.
I had that listed here. I'm thinking to myself, there's no way Fox got this one.
There's
no way
crazy
Fox
to
got
me
this one.
That it's just, hey, it's, let's see, 2005 was when Twilight came out.
My wife and I were talking about this.
My wife?
Let me be clear. No, get out. Let me be clear here. when the books first came out,
You have the Twilight books, don't you?
my wife got
Yeah,
them.
they're on your shelf upstairs.
When the books came out forever ago, my wife got into them after the third one came out.
Ah,
She got all 3 at once and read the first 2 books in one sitting.
wow.
Literally 16 hours, something like that. Did not sleep that night. Went to work the next day. Was up for like 36 hours straight or whatever. Read the first 2 books in one sitting.
That's okay.
Absolutely consumed them.
Sure.
Afterward, a few years later, she tried to go back and she was like, these are terrible. Why did I love these so much?
Who was I back then?
And she said, I think it was the uncertainty of it. Like, there is a lot of like, will they, won't they? And I guess the will they, won't they is written pretty well.
Yeah.
But when you know for a fact they will, then no. Then it's not worth it anymore. It's just not interesting anymore at all. I don't get this. Anyway, what have you been up to, Fox?
I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy VII, so that's taking up, and Animal Crossing, so those have been taking up my time.
Yeah.
But I did play a game called Open World Game, the Open World Game. It's just a little goofy, like free Steam game where you literally are just a triangle on a generic like world map essentially, and you go around and you find icons and then you collect them, and it's just making fun of the like clearing an open world map with all the icons on it so that you can feel accomplished. It was making fun of all the things that I like to do in a video game, and it takes like an hour and I got all the achievements.
Wow. you did it.
Look, it was fun. It was an absolutely fun distraction for an hour. And it made fun of what I love, and everything deserves to be poked fun of at a certain point.
A while back, somebody reached out to us just saying, hey, I saw your channel and I really like it. I am a game dev and I made this little mobile game. Do you want to try it? It's called The Forgotten Nightmare.
The Forgotten
Nightmare. And it's a text-based mobile game.
Okay.
And I played through a decent amount of it, and it's real good.
Oh.
It plays in this really interesting way of old text-based games where you have to click like go get this or go take that.
You type in what you're
doing.
It
actually has this really unique interface where there's a scroll wheel of the actions you can take and the objects you can do with them, and then you can just like scroll through, grab, jump, punch, whatever. Yeah. And then scroll through,
you fill in the
banana.
So it's not infinite possibilities. It's lots, and you just
it makes things way easier. Yeah. And then there's a few other like little interface things in there, but it really makes it feel like you are kind of like twiddling the dials on a machine and things like that, trying to get the exact right frequency that you want. It has really good atmospheric writing. The horror is pretty good.
Okay.
As much as I played through it, I really want to recommend this game.
Okay.
I do have to say that I read through some of the reviews, and the reason that it was recommended to us is because, if you guys don't remember this, Fox and I are devout Christians. I was a pastor for years. He is a pastor. This was a Christian guy who made the game, and I guess the game ends with hey, this thing happens, and faith can save you from these types of things. Anyway, would you like to talk about Christ, and would you like to hear some scriptures and things like that? Cool. That's a good tool to use. You can go that route if you want, but a lot of people it did not
ring well with them.
No.
I've been watching Middleditch and Schwartz.
That one.
Middleditch and Schwartz. So it's
Schwartz, not Schwartz.
Schwartz. Sorry, I'm saying it incorrectly. It's on Netflix. It's 2 comedians, Thomas Middleditch, who is on Silicon Valley, a TV show.
Okay.
And Ben Schwartz, who was
Sonic the Hedgehog,
the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog, as well as he was John Ralphio in Parks and Rec, one of the best characters on that show. They're both in actually increasing amount of things. They've been comedians for a long. They were on a bunch of Jake and Amir episodes together, and that's where they met. But anyway, so it's a 3-episode just little mini series of about hour long, entirely improv like stage shows.
Oh, nice.
And they're obviously very funny.
Yes.
Like, in my opinion, but they are comedic in nature. They're not dramas. But, and essentially it starts off with, hey, they talk to somebody in the audience and just kind of get a story from them. So in the first one, they talk to somebody in the audience and just randomly, I would assume, and they say, actually, we're getting married in a couple weeks. And they're like, oh, great. And then they start like, oh, so who are some of the people coming to the wedding? And they start naming talking about these people and like their relationships. And, there's some funny jokes there, like between. And at first I was just like, oh, it's just like an intro. It's just kind of warming up the audience kind of thing. They're comedians, whatever. But then the entire actual improv was about that. They created like this wedding and what's going to happen. Like it was very, very funny. I don't want to get into it because obviously when
you should watch it.
You should watch it. Improv is based. You don't want to know anything about what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
It's hilarious.
Because May the 4th just happened recently.
It did?
On May the 4th, Disney Plus released the entire Skywalker saga. All 9 movies are now on Disney Plus.
Did you watch?
So I went and I watched Rise of Skywalker.
So did I.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't going to talk about this because I already gave my opinion, but I watched it.
Are you ready for this?
Don't.
I liked it more the second time. I really did. I think it was because I was expecting the stupidity.
You've hurt me.
It didn't. The stupidity of it didn't shock me this time.
You've hurt me so much.
And so because of that, I was able to just accept a lot more of it.
That's not a compliment, though.
No, I'm not. Again,
I have to accept the bad, so it makes it good. Like,
no, let me be very clear. I didn't say it was better.
Okay.
I didn't say
you
it's
enjoyed
good.
It more. Sure.
I liked it better this time.
I just everything was so even more glaringly bad about it to me that I was just like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Stop! Don't do that. You're making bad decisions. You're all terrible at this. And I didn't even get all the way through it. I just got bored.
The funny thing to me was I watched it with my wife who hadn't seen it yet, and she's over there like, where did they come from?
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? Who are they? And I had to tell her so many times, you just have to accept it. You just have to accept it.
It's very bad writing.
It's very poorly written.
I watched one more movie.
All right, go ahead.
This morning, and this is going to destroy a lot of my credibility.
Yeah, no kidding.
I watched Ghost Rider.
What? What?
I've been really
It is legitimately, I'm not joking here, one of the top 5 the worst movies I've ever seen.
Ghost Rider is a terrible, terrible, terrible movie. I've been wanting to watch a bunch of Nicolas Cage movies lately because I find him fascinating. I think he's a great actor sometimes and a terrible part of every other movie. And I was like, this one, it just came up. I was playing Animal Crossing and I wanted something on. I was like, I'll watch Ghost Rider. That movie sucks. It's so bad. It's so bad. There's so many weird, baffling choices. He like eats a bunch of jelly beans for some reason. I don't know why. Like he puts them in a martini glass and eats jelly beans. And you're like, what is this? What is this? At one point, he's what's her name? The Eva Mendes.
Longoria.
Eva Long. Nope.
No, Mendes.
Yeah,
Eva Mendes.
Different Eva.
Yes.
They're like supposed to go on a date or something, and he stands her up because he becomes the Ghost Rider. And then it shows her at the restaurant, and instead of being like, typical Johnny, typical, what did I expect? She gets drunk and then like asks like the waiter, like grabs him by the lapel and is just like, I'm pretty, right? And it's just like the worst. What? Why would? What? Why is? There were so many bad things about it, but I love Nicolas Cage.
My kids have been watching Rapunzel: A Tangled Adventure, the television series that is on Disney Plus.
Okay.
And I've been catching it in the peripheral
while you're playing the daily on Slay the Spire
or cooking or whatever, cleaning the house, whatever. I am the stay-at-home dad right now because we're working, very minimally.
20 minutes in the morning.
Yeah. That show slaps, man.
So Nick Cage is in it.
Crap, it's good.
Okay.
Like, it's one of those things, like, I would guess, I haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's coming to Netflix soon, and that's a goal is for me and my kids all watch it together.
The show. Okay,
the show.
Yeah. It's so good.
I imagine it's similar in that it's a cartoon for kids, but holy crap, they write it really well.
Yeah.
And the character growth and the character analyzation through it all. Sometimes goofy kid stuff happens, but the vast majority of the time, it's building towards something better.
Awesome.
And something like to the point that like the reason I really got caught up in it was because like I saw the season finale of one and I'm like, oh, crazy. All right, cool. And then like a few things happen in the next one. I'm like, wait, what's going on over there? And then my kid's been watching it. Yeah. And I've just been like watching it at the same time. And not only is it one where like every 3 or 4 episodes there'll be an original song, and Disney songwriters are all phenomenal. They're very great.
Sure.
It's good. They're good at what they do, and the songs are good. But the storylines are great. And again, character growth from heroes turning villains and villains turning heroes, and heroes kind of change their attitude on things, and people making really great, honest decisions about how they feel about each other and what that means and things like that.
Dang,
like,
you're going to love Avatar.
Yes.
Let me know when you start
I will.
watching it. I will watch it with you.
I think May 15th is when it drops.
Okay, yeah. Let's
So,
watch it together and we can talk about it.
Yeah. But all that to say, Rapunzel: A Tangled Adventure is a good show, y'all.
Okay.
Go check
Does
it
it
out.
have the same voice actors? Or
Yeah. All the same voice actors.
Mandy Moore
and Zach Efron. Zach Levi.
Okay.
Zachary Levi. Yeah.
Cool.
So go check it out, y'all. All right. That's it. That's what I got.
That's it for me.
Let's get down to that nerdy gritty, yo.
100%. Hey everybody, just want to take a quick second to talk about our Patreon. If you're listening to this on YouTube or on like a streaming service somewhere, we really appreciate it.
We really do.
We love having you listen, and we love having you support us by listening. But we do want to let you know that we do have something called the Director's Cut of the Nerdy Gritty. It's essentially a longer version. I edited this down. We edit the Nerdy Gritty down each week to kind of keep it in a little more palatable range.
Right.
We can go on a long time talking about a million things.
We do go on a long time.
go on. It's not a can we, it's a we do go on talking a whole lot about stuff. And so we cut it down a little bit to keep it a little more interesting. But if you're interested in hearing our voices a lot more, like we are most of the time, then you can head over to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/dezandfox. And at our $5 tier, our second tier, you will get access to the director's cut of every episode. Usually you're going to get about 20 to 30 minutes of bonus content on there. Now, I want to be clear, that's all going to be part of the before the nerdy gritty part.
Right.
That's when we're talking about news, when we're talking about things we've been playing or watching. We keep the nerdy gritty, our conversation after the jump here, we keep that full for both versions, so you're not missing out on any of that, unless there's some kind of tangent we go into. But if that's something you could do, you'll also get access to our Discord. There's some other things on there. We have a few different tiers, so please go check out our Patreon. If that's not really in your wheelhouse right now, we appreciate all the support you can give us by listening and liking and subscribing and sharing and all of that. And we just want to say thank you so much.
Absolutely. And again, one more time, the $5 is to get the full extended cut, but even at our $1 level, you do get access to our Discord, in which we are going to start posting our topics a little bit early, and then we'll start reading some input from our listeners at the end of these episodes. So
Yeah.
if you enjoy listening to Nerdy Gritty and you want to say something about our topic, even at the $1 level, you'll get a chance to do that. So again, thank you for whatever support you can give, and let's get down to that Nerdy Gritty now.
For sure. So lately, there's been a really big shift in the movie theater experience, in that it doesn't exist right now.
Right.
For obvious reasons, the movie theaters have closed. And for me, it's been really unfortunate because I love going to the movies. That's the biggest thing I miss, aside from being able to meet with, the church and friends and all that kind of stuff. I want to go to the movies.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about lately, just here in snippets here on the Nerdy Gritty. Like last week, we talked about this story that came out that
Trolls?
What's that?
Trolls World Tour.
Trolls World Tour. That's what it was. That was the movie. Was released. It was the first movie to be released entirely digitally. It had no theater release at all. And what is it? Universal, right? Universal released it on a streaming service. On what would it be?
It was Amazon.
Oh, it's on Amazon. Okay.
Yeah.
And you were able to rent it for 24 hours for $20.
That's right.
Des, you did that with your family.
We did.
You watched it. It was a really great deal for you.
Yeah.
Well, turns out, I don't think we have exact numbers.
$100 million.
Oh! What?
Yep.
Oh, man. Okay, so turns out it was
Over
obvious.
2 weeks, by the way.
Over 2 weeks.
Over 2 weeks.
That's still incredibly successful.
Yes.
Especially for what people expected from a digital-only first release.
Yes.
Didn't get any box office return at all. And so the aftermath of that is that Universal has said, we are now going to, in the future, release our movies both in the theater and digitally at the same time.
Right.
Which caused some drama, as you might expect, from some of the major theater chains.
AMC Theater, the largest
largest chain
in the country,
Yes.
has now said, well, fine, we are not going to show Universal Pictures anymore.
Yeah, and I looked it up. Regal Theaters has said the same thing.
Ooh.
They, within 24 hours, said, hey, we're probably going, like, basically confirmed it within a couple days, saying, we are also not going to show Universal films if this is how they're going to conduct their business.
Right.
And this has kind of sparked this conversation about, well, can you blame Universal? Can you blame the theaters? Like, how it's just kind of got this whole idea, this whole, what's the future of movie theaters and movie production look like? And that's kind of what we want to talk about today is, I think we'll talk a little bit about whose side should we fall on?
Right.
Like, who's in the right here? Are they both in the right? But also, we want to talk about how do theaters start to stay relevant?
Yes.
Because this is not the beginning of their decline. The death of movie theaters, quote unquote, has been talked about for actually a good long while now.
Well, the home theater is a thing now.
Yes.
I personally have a 60-inch 4K TV with 7.1 surround. I'm okay with being at home.
As well as all of these streaming services providing enough content that you really, unless there's a movie you really desperately want to watch when it's in theaters,
right,
you got plenty to see.
Yeah.
You're not hurting for anything to watch. And so let's get into that. First, let's talk about like kind of this debate that's going on, this kind of battle between the theater chains and Universal right now. There may be other production companies that kind of jump on this as well if they're seeing that a movie that was expected to maybe be successful made $100 million. It's probably going to be the first domino in the chain, is my guess.
Oh man.
And so, I mean, what side do you fall on, Des?
I would side more with the theaters than with Universal.
Okay.
Although I can say I don't blame anybody.
Sure. I think it's pretty clear that there is no obvious villain here.
Right.
Nobody that's just completely wrong, as it usually turns out.
But movies and theaters have had a relationship for decades, longer than most of us have been alive.
Well,
I would
sure.
guess longer
Yeah.
than anybody who's listening to this podcast has been alive.
I mean, theaters have been around since movies have been. So
right,
going on 120 years now.
Well, I guess it has been that long.
It's been
Dang,
the motion picture, it went through some phases, but started really becoming a thing around the turn of the 20th century.
So there has been this relationship of we are working together at first, and then eventually there will be an at-home thing to it.
Right, which really started in like, I guess, what, the 80s, the 70s?
Would be my guess, yeah. And then eventually coming to a point where they're like, wait, we don't need you anymore. When we've got, like you were saying here, 120-year relationship where these businesses have probably been handed down from mentor to mentee over and over and over again, relationships passing on and on and on and on, for all of a sudden one person to turn around and be like, hey, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah, actually, nah.
Yeah. And like, again, they're not saying we're not releasing it in theaters at all. They're saying, we'll split it.
Yeah, we'll do that and digitally at home.
Yeah. That seems really abrupt. And that seems, again, not officially on contract or anything like that, but just as far as morally, I guess, ethically, it seems unfair to me.
Right.
And so for them to say, hey, we're willing to take from your profits, we're willing to skip the middleman here, it makes perfect sense for me for that middleman to say then, cool, you can only get your profits from there then.
Right. We will no longer allow you to show. Yeah.
Yeah. If that's the direction you want to go, then let's just sever ties.
Yeah.
If you're going to openly state you don't need us anymore, then let's lean into that. And we don't need you anymore.
Yeah, we'll just
either.
finish it off for you real quick.
You know who's still showing the movies in theaters? Disney, Fox, Marvel. Like, well, I guess I just said Disney 3 times in a row, but still.
That's part of the problem. No, but that's really the question there. Or that's really what my thing is it feels as though AMC and Regal are, which I assume Regal is also maybe the second biggest.
That'd be my guess.
Pretty big. That it feels like they're kind of like cutting themselves to make somebody else bleed. Like, sure, obviously Universal is going to make less money.
Right.
They're not going, they're going to make something from theaters, even if it's digitally released as well. But is this just like what happens when Disney says this same thing, or when Warner Brothers says this same thing? Like, are they going to just say, are they going to like erase themselves from history out of spite? Are they just going to condemn themselves to oblivion because it's either our way or no way kind of thing? Like, it feels like a poor decision on the movie theater's part to then like what happens when the next big production company says the same thing.
I think that the production company is perfectly capable of finding a middle ground, though, and finding a profitable middle ground. I think that what they should have done, and what I think that Disney and whoever else can say is, hey, everybody talks about the first weekend of a box office. How about we give you 3 weeks instead of, it's 90 days right now is typical, a month and a half.
Yeah.
Or 3 months, sorry. 3 months.
3 months.
Of theater, and then a middle time of nothing, and then releasing.
Right, which has been shrinking for a long time now.
Why not just say, hey, we'll give you 2 weeks of box office. We'll give you 3 weeks of box office. Then we want to release it on a digital platform. We want to help you hype it.
Gradually, slow. Yeah, just kind of, hey, we're moving in this direction, but.
Right.
Okay.
And then, but let's help you hype up those 2 weeks. Let's make it huge. And then at that point, the turnover in a theater is going to be a lot higher. And those theaters can start showing some more B movies. Maybe some more Netflix stuff. Maybe some things that aren't as great. Who knows if they're going to make as much money, but at least they can fill the theaters at that point.
Sure. Well, we can get into what they're going to be, what they can do, but I understand both where it's coming from. I'm kind of on the side of Universal here, though.
Yeah.
A little bit more, I would say, because that's business. That's Hollywood, baby. Like, it's for money. Like, it's for money making purposes.
What human being has ever said, that's Hollywood, baby? And everybody turned on them and said, that's a good man.
That's a good man.
Person.
No, look, doesn't mean they don't say it.
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
It's a money making business. If they clearly demonstrate that profit can be made without having to, like, everything's digital now, like, but they don't have to distribute their movie to theaters. They don't have to do as much like physical promotion with posters and stuff. Like, if they can make more money off of these massive productions that they're putting up millions of dollars into, then yeah, that just makes sense to me. Like, why would they not do that? Hey, sorry about you, AMC. That's kind of called capitalism. I mean, evolve or die. That's just kind of how it goes. And to me, it's like saying that millennials killed the whatever industry. No, they didn't. That's just it's like saying the car killed the horse and buggy industry. I mean, yeah, that it had that was just the natural evolution of technology. And so are you going to blame a production company for wanting to make more money? The theaters, obviously, like AMC. Yeah, I don't say like, oh, they're doing nothing right. Sure, it makes sense. They're making the right decision, kind of, but like I feel unless there's a contract that's being broken, if it's all just a handshake deal, I don't know if you should trust a handshake deal, especially in the entertainment industry. It feels like a weird it feels like they're trying to hold on to an honor-based system.
Yeah.
In a capitalist society. It's like, I don't think you're really going for what the other, that's just not how it works, guys.
And you know what? I don't disagree with you. Again, to me, it's more of the, like you said, the handshake deal thing, honoring the system that's been in place for so long. Yeah, this is just how it's been done. But because of that, I wholeheartedly agree. And the only way that theaters can say we won't show your picture and have that be a relevant thing,
right, is
they need to evolve.
Absolutely.
And they need to change.
They need to, you gotta have some leverage to be a threat.
So let's talk about that for a second here.
Yes.
But let's shift into our next topic, and that is, how should theaters evolve to become more relevant today? And I'm actually really excited to talk about this because I'm going to guess that you and I came at this from totally different perspectives because of our situations of life.
Yes, I am, no kids. I have a subscription to a movie theater.
Yep.
I go to the movies several times a week when they're actually, and I love the theater going process. You are not there.
No, not at all. In fact, on our Discord server, we were talking recently about theaters and going to a theater, and somebody's like, yeah, it's crazy not being able to go to theater these past few months. I'm like, I haven't really wanted to go to theater in 9 years.
Right.
Every once in a while, Fox would be like, hey, I'm going to go see this movie. You want to come with me? And unless it's a great movie, I usually respond,
or Rise of the Skywalker.
Nah, not really. I don't really want to.
Yeah, you don't want
Rise of the Skywalker. Yeah. It's not that I can't. It's that I'm just like, nah, man, that doesn't sound interesting to me.
Yeah, no thing. Yeah.
So what can theaters do to evolve? So I'll let you start, Fox. What's your first thought on that?
Man, well, here's the thing. I think they have to recognize, they have to look at what can we provide that you cannot get at home. And there are some things that are different scales, like popcorn you can get at home, but movie theater popcorn's pretty different scale. Sure,
Right.
whatever. But they have to look at what they can do that if you just rented it on Disney Plus or whatever it is, Amazon, that's going to be, it's not just different, you cannot do it at home. What that this will create the demand. And I think just big community events. There used to be a time, and the last one I remember doing this was when a premiere, even at our local theater, when we went and saw Avengers here. This was when I was an intern, 2012, if I'm not mistaken. When I was an intern, it was both of us as well as like a bunch of students from the youth group. We had like 30, 40 people going to this movie together. That's still doable now, but what they did there was that a local radio station came. They had multiple theaters doing it. They had like DJ radio hosts doing trivia, giving away prizes. And I remember that fondly because I knew a lot of Marvel trivia and I got one right and I got a t-shirt. And also I was given the opportunity to like come up with a trivia question and ask it to another theater. And that was really fun, but it really created this atmosphere of like a party,
right? That
we were coming together for our love of the Avengers and wanting to like have this community experience. And then you can have that in a house. Definitely not to that. You couldn't have 40 people in your basement in any comfortable way watching a movie. And
if it's in your house, somebody has to plan it in that house.
Somebody has to plan it. It's going to still cost money. You're going to want food there, whatever. And like, it's just going to be a different experience, as well as the local radio station's not going to come out to your house and just do a little thing unless you got a lot of money. And it's really unfortunate that they don't really do this anymore. I miss those. Like it used to be standard. I'm going to go to the premiere, midnight premiere, you know, and then it kind of started getting earlier, and then it just kind of became, it's premiering at 7:00. It's not really special. It's just going to see a movie.
Right.
There was a difference to staying up late for me. That's always been, midnight's always been staying up late. And going and like hanging out and watching this movie and getting out at 3 a.m. and, you know, and all these things. It was a different experience that could not be provided at home. And I really wish theaters would do this more, especially not at midnight. Hey, 7:00 Saturday night. It's going to be a big party, and it's already come out, sure, but it's going to be a community event. We're going to have a cosplay contest. We're going to have trivia. Awesome. We're going to have something that cannot happen at home.
5 p.m. the 2 hours leading up to
right, yeah,
release.
Like not just be here in the theater, but yeah, maybe even from 5 to 10. We're going to have a bunch of showings, but out in our lobby and in the front, we're going to have a bunch of stuff going on where you couldn't do it at home. I something like that I think would really be great because it cannot happen at your house.
I've talked about this with GameStop a lot, where when I managed a GameStop, we did a lot of things like that, and it was so much fun. Yeah. And I don't hear about GameStops doing anything like that at all anymore.
No, it's
community type.
More
events.
of a robotic, like if you go to get it at a release night, it's just hey, get in line, here you go, bye. Yep, that kind of thing.
Yeah, man, I really like that. That'd be awesome.
That would be, I think, really fun.
I came at this from a totally different perspective, obviously. Sure. And for me, I really focus a lot on how difficult it is for a family to go see a movie these days. And so my very first thought was small home theater type rooms that are rentable. You rent the room. As many people as you want to put in that room.
Interesting.
You rent the room. Now they have things like this.
You can rent a theater
at luxury theaters already. There are theaters that like hold like 50 people or whatever else. But I'm talking like the size of we have Edgefield at the theater here. Yeah. And the screen is more like 10 by 5 or whatever.
I don't know the size, but
but it's like a third of the size of a normal movie screen. Something like that with that type of sound system, bigger than you can get at home, more grandiose than you can get at home.
Right.
But still small enough that you feel comfortable with paying. You know what? This movie's coming out. My whole family wants to go see it. $100 to go see them, to rent that room and take your family to go see it. And with a total of, 10 people or whatever. And at that point, one theater sized area could probably house 4 of those types of rooms.
Possibly.
And so you would get a similar amount of income. But then at that point, I, as a father, have no problem going, and my kids are loud and rowdy and whatever else, and I don't give a
now I'm
crap.
thinking about that. I would appreciate that.
Yes.
I went and saw Frozen 2. fully knowing it's a movie aimed at families. There's going to be kids. There were some kids literally just running around the theater screaming, and their parents seemingly had no interest in doing anything about it. And I get it. It's a kids thing. There's going to be kids. That was still unacceptable to me.
It is absolutely unacceptable. And I'll say this. Parents know it, and most parents, obviously not your terrible ones, but most parents we just don't go then.
Yes.
We just don't go.
I understand that. Like I don't blame any parent. Like I also can be on their side and say, yeah, like I get it. They would have to be running around the theater or forcing their kids to sit in a seat, and it's just a waste of the money either way. At this rate, the parents can sit and watch it, and everybody else can suffer. Like I mean, I feel like that might be the best option for them, but aside from not going at all.
At this point, as a family, especially again if it's a limit of 10, I can split that with another family.
Sure.
And $50 a piece. Man, I would die for $50 a piece to go get in the theater. I'd pay $75 a piece.
It would still be cheaper.
Yeah.
If they threw in a bucket of popcorn or something as well.
Yeah, absolutely. To be able to go and watch the movie, but in peace, without having any shame for my kids being loud and running around or anything like that. And it's got 3 couches in it.
Yeah.
Something real simple and some soft cushions on the ground.
Because at the end of the day, and I mean, here's the thing about that is why not just do it at home? At the end of the day, I think there are some movie experiences that are better in a big movie house.
Right.
Big, huge screen with the great sound system. The thing that comes to mind is that moment when on your left at the end of Endgame and everybody starts coming out. I have seen video after video of, I hate when this happens in the theater. I want people to be silent unless it's like a understandable laugh moment, or really that's all it is. I want you to be silent. I want to watch this movie. I don't want to miss anything or not be able to hear because you were cheering. But I've seen videos of entire theaters just screaming on their feet. The Russo brothers shared a video. They went and snuck into an early screening or a preview or a first screening of something of that game, and they had a secret video going of when that moment happened. Nobody knew they were in there. And it was just, and part of me would say, oh, that'd be my nightmare. I want to hear everything that's happening. But also I understand.
Yeah.
That massive moment on a huge screen is a way better experience. And so renting the theater like that, at the end of the day, sometimes a movie is better in that, that first viewing is better in that big format. Or
even Trolls World Tour. I told you I have the big screen downstairs.
Sure, yeah.
And so we didn't watch it. They watched it on our TV upstairs over dinner, and the TV upstairs is a 720 TV speakers. Again, I'd have paid to go in my own personal theater, happily gone to do that. And so again, maybe you have, it's a 10 screen theater. Maybe you now make it a 7 screen theater with a dozen small rooms that you can individually rent. And then again, I would be all about that. I really would.
I think there are a lot of indie theaters around where we live. And I love going to them. We have there's I can't think of any of the names of them right now. Wait for it. Cinema 21. That's a really great one. There's, what's that one on, there's the Baghdad Theater. That's just another McMiniman's.
If I try to tell you which baseball stadiums, would you have any idea?
Chase Park. That's the one I've been to.
Field.
Oh, dang it. It was Bank One Ballpark. Now it's Chase Field. Hold on. I got this. There's more.
The point is there are no theaters that I know other than the Regal Troutdale.
Yeah, there are a bunch of indie theaters around here, and it's been so long since I've been to them. I'm freaked. They've left my memory. But they do some things that I think big theaters can take some ideas from.
Okay.
Something that's really fun. Oh, the Hollywood Theater. I'm an idiot. I couldn't remember. It's literally called the Hollywood. Anyway, they do, and other theaters do this too, but they do this a lot where they show classics, but in their original format. So they'll show, or new movies that are in film still. So when Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out, I went and saw it, and they showed it in 70 millimeter film. And I understand this is going to be more of a film buff thing because and I usually don't care either, but do special events like that. Not necessarily a big community event, but something where it's this is the original format. I went and saw one of the Baghdad Theater around here, one of the McMiniman's theaters did the Summer of Schwarzenegger one time, where the first Friday of every month they did a classic Schwarzenegger film in its original format. So I went and saw Terminator in 16 millimeter, whatever the original was, and it was such a fun thing to do, to go watch it because it was also a community kind of thing. You had a bunch of people because they were there to see Terminator, and it was fun and goofy, but also it was like a cool, like, paying homage to film history. And but also you could do like sing-along versions of movies, put that in the theater, and then the whole theater is just having fun singing along to the movie. Like, find some version of the movie that's different than what you can get on Disney Plus at home. Indie theaters also have like trivia moment. I guess I'm just going back to these community events things, but they have local food. They have like, there's a clear investment in the community.
Yeah.
From aside from events that they do, there's just like, hey, we're a local movie theater. Here you can get pizza from that place down the street, and ice cream from Cinema 21 has Ruby. They have like ice cream sandwiches, and then pizza from Escape from New York Pizza. And like, it's a really cool place, like, because when you're there, you know you are investing. You're watching. They show like current movies sometimes, not all the time, but you're also, the money you're going is going specifically into the community you're investing in, or that you're living in, rather than into Regal theaters or AMC theaters. I get it. There's going to be those big theaters all the time. That's just how it works. I can't shame a theater for trying to fight against the evolution of, a capitalist society, and then also say that can't exist. But like, to have a theater show, hey, we care about where we are.
Right.
This is what we do. It's like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is a massive company, but I've never seen a company better at clearly showing interest in the community they are placed in. The one in Joplin, Missouri was amazing at this, having little events, hosting events, doing free catering for events that they cared about, things like that. And I think a theater really could do that in the big format, that still showed huge movies that are coming out this weekend,
Chick-fil-A's drive-thru is open, obviously, and there's only one in the state of Oregon, in Kaiser. And a friend of mine.
No, there's two. There's at least two. There's one in Clackamas.
Oh, that's right. There's one in Clackamas. Well, yeah. Either way,
I'm sure the lines are.
I'm thinking In-N-Out.
Oh yeah,
There's only one In-N-Out. Either way, Chick-fil-A is what I'm thinking of here, though. But a friend of mine went to one in Kaiser, and it was a 3-hour wait. And he waited through the whole
And people are
thing.
waiting because they are amazing at what they do.
Yes.
And at any other fast food restaurant, that 3-hour wait would be a 12-hour wait.
Yeah.
They are incredible at what they do, and I don't know how they do it better than everybody else. But
again, focus on the family aspect of it. Give me a family bundle that includes some sort of toys or memorabilia from whatever movie I'm watching.
Okay.
So McDonald's style. You get a Happy Meal, I get Trolls World Tour toy inside of it. If you're going to tell me, hey, Trolls World Tour is coming out, it's $100 for a family of 5, but you also get 5 drinks, 2 large popcorns, and a Trolls World Tour toy for however many kids you have. And again, immediately that makes it more attractive to me as a parent to be able to go and say, yeah, this is worth it.
It's something a little more.
And especially when you bundle it together and you tell me this is your singular one-time cost, that makes it way more easy for me to want to go, rather than thinking to myself, oh, it's $15 for 5 people, plus however many drinks are going to be, plus however many candies there are going to be, and things like that. I'm not doing that math ahead of time.
Yeah.
To me, that it might as well be infinity dollars. Like, in my brain just keeps adding things up. But if you tell me, hey, it's going to be $100 and you don't have to worry about it at all, I'm still not going to go as often because $100 is a lot of money, but that's still more attractive to me than saying individual pay for everything as you go, whatever.
Sure,
else.
yeah.
It's the cruise
mentality. If you pay it all up front, it feels like you're getting a really good deal when you actually get that and don't pay for it right then.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think the exact same thing would be really helpful, again, especially if you say exclusive to our theater are these toys. You will not get these toys anywhere else. They can be garbage little toys.
Like McDonald's toys.
Yeah, exactly. But if they're exclusive,
collectible nature.
Collectible, people are going to be more interested in that.
Sure. My last one is unfortunately obvious, but also pretty difficult because of how it works. Make it cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, just make it less expensive to go. That's the number one killer right now. Is for you, $20 is amazing for a 24-hour rental compared to, at least for you and your 3 children, you're at our local Regal, you're paying $52 for tickets alone.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing, make it cheaper. And you don't necessarily like look, I understand. That's an obvious thing, and it's not like I'm breaking through any kind of barrier saying, hey, cheaper prices will get more people, but put it in the form of a loyalty thing. There's a loyalty thing at Regal. You get points for spending money. It really doesn't feel like it's worth it unless you go really often. But if you say, hey, if you buy, 2 adult tickets and 2 children's tickets, you'll get 1 child ticket free. Or something like that, and it can kind of build. You get a punch card or something where it's like, okay, well, we went and saw it, and it's cheaper now because of that. Or at this time, and it's, I don't know, find some way to, like, at the end of the day, if it's cheaper, more people will want to go there. Go to your theater and watch the movie. Maybe that means you show less movies. Maybe that means your theater becomes children or family movie and comic book movie theater. And that's something that a lot of people are really worried about.
Yeah.
Is that all these indie, like, interesting movies that are kind of more artistic in nature are going to get forced out because that's not what makes money. But if you're a theater and you want to survive, that's kind of what you might need to do.
Yes.
Like, show less movies. Have smaller you don't need 12 screens. Like, I wonder, like, how many theaters that have however many screens. The one I worked at in Chandler, Arizona had 20 screens. And that was probably a lot, like, really good to have back when I worked there and when it was built. When movie theaters were, like, before streaming was a thing. When you went to the theater, you went to watch a movie, all that. But now I wonder how many of these theaters that have been built, they're now kicking themselves saying, this is too many theaters.
Way too many, yeah.
So, yeah, and we're just, like, putting stuff in them because we have them.
We're at half capacity.
How many of their during the day, and this is always going to be true, but even especially now during the day, it was not uncommon. I went and saw Hobbs and Shaw, and I was literally the only one in the theater. That was, and I promise you that was opening weekend.
Jeez.
So, like, at the end of the day, like, reduce.
Yeah.
If you build a theater, you don't have to put as many theaters in there. Or show less movies. I don't know. Find some way at the end of the day to reduce cost for yourself so you can reduce cost for your customer, because that's how they're going to come back in. No matter what you do, if it's too expensive, people won't come.
My last one is kind of a reach, but I think it would work.
Sure.
AMC Productions. You make 10-minute episodes or 15-minute episodes of whatever.
Everybody's got their original content nowadays.
Exclusively shown in your theaters. And it's before a movie. Before the previews, before whatever else. But it's
a short film.
A short film. And each one is shown a different weekend. So no matter what movie you see this weekend, you'll get, you'll watch that episode. This one. And then the next weekend, it's the next or another or whatever else. And in some way, you create contents that people want to see that are exclusively shown in your theaters, nowhere else. And at that point, it makes people want to know. If it's good, people are going to come back and talk about it. And I don't think people are actively not wanting to go to the theater. I think most people are on the tipping edge. And if you can get somebody to be like, yeah, all right, I'll go, man. Yeah. I'll go. Well, let's check that out. Sure, why not? Even if it's some little things like a comedy, like 10 minutes, a tight 10 from this comedian or whatever else. And just simple things.
Exclusive something
that comes only in your theaters. Again, I think that would be something that would just push people right over there. It's like, you know what?
I could see that.
I was going to wait until after it came out, but I do want to see that little segment.
And it's only going to show, these first 3 weeks, and it will never,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's something that I'm thinking about right now. One of my least favorite parts, and this kind of clashes with what you're talking about, one of my least favorite parts about the movie-going experience. If I go to a Regal theater, I do not get to that theater till 20 minutes after the advertised start time. Like, that's not even like I'm late. That's what I plan to do every time, because I have timed it out. It's on average 36 or 37, 33, mid-30s of minutes. I'll just say 35 minutes. 35 minutes after the advertised start time for your movie you're watching that the movie actually starts.
Really?
Yes. Especially, and it's possibly longer during, like, non-matinee. If it's like 7 o'clock, you're going to be sitting there, you're watching, I've seen a lot of movies, I've counted. You're watching 8 trailers. You're watching an ad for, this is Regal specific.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Well, you're watching 8 trailers. You're watching an ad for Regal Theaters.
Okay.
Which is usually the short film nowadays, where it's an ad for Coca-Cola and Regal Theaters. Hint, you're already in a Regal Theater? Why are you advertising to me about the theater I've already given money to? Get that out of there.
Yeah.
And then another one after that now, which is another 2 or 3 minutes, an ad for the loyalty, the subscription thing that I have.
Right.
And so, like, like, if somebody doesn't see it as much as I do and recognize that, if you look on the internet, on their website, it's going to say it's an hour and 45-minute movie. Okay. No. It's now 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You are, like, actively making it a longer, worse experience because I came to watch this movie, not 8 trailers and 2 commercials for the theater I'm already in. And so, hey, cut that out a little bit.
Cut that garbage
out
out
those
of there,
2
man.
trailers. Or cut out those 2 commercials, cut it down to 5 trailers, and show a 10-minute thing that's actually interesting and entertaining and makes me want to get there.
Yeah.
Like, you got to entice us to be there and not give us reasons why we actually do want to watch it on a streaming channel.
Well, guys, let us know what you think about AMC and Regal's choice to not show Universal Pictures, and let us know what you think about Universal's choice to go to streaming service immediately. Thanks for your support, guys. Thanks for listening. Let us know what you think mine and Fox's ideas. We do want to say a huge thank you to Granger for the use of our theme song, All My Friends Have Wi-Fi, and some of my neighbors do too, off of the album Dear Sam. It's good.
There's a weird pause there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, check out our YouTube channel. We've got a bunch of videos going out every day. We have a lot of Let's Play. We're going to have a few more things coming out soon. Right now, as of this going up, we're going to be showing, let's see, you're playing your Final Fantasy VII Remake playthrough still. Yep. I, starting today, actually, when this goes up, my playthrough of Control starts, as well as our playthrough of Days Gone is still happening.
Yep.
And then we also want to say a big thank you to our patrons. We love you guys, and we've already started putting out some content that it goes to you guys a couple weeks before we put it out to the public. Some really fun stuff called, like, the bargain bin, where we find ultra cheap games, like literally 1 cent games, and try to play them for as long as we can before we have to stop. That was fun. And we're going to be recording some stuff today that will also be exclusive. There's a Summer Game Fest happening right now, which is kind of a replacement, kind of an addition to E3, which all summer long there's going to be a bunch of game announcements and demos and all that. And we're going to be just kind of talking about all of it, doing a recap. And we're starting with the Inside Xbox announcements that happened last week. That might actually already be up by now. We're not exactly sure when that's going to come up, but we're going to be talking about what went on there and talking about our thoughts. So jump on there, and there's something for you, I promise.
Thanks again, guys, and always remember that save games, save lives.
Bye.
My voice sings all night.